It's the Snowman from TooLoudTooOldMusic.com. Welcome back to the collection. This week, we're going to go back to the 90s. 90s were a strange time for music. I'm coming out of the 80s. I was a massive hair metal fan, for lack of a better term. Love the 80s rock sound. So when grunge came along, I wasn't into it at all. Didn't like Nirvana. Still don't like Nirvana. Sorry about that. Pearl Jam, didn't care for them too much, but I really appreciate them now. So I've actually started collecting their stuff. Soundgarden was hit and miss at the beginning, but now I'm a massive Soundgarden fan. Love Chris Cornell. But the one band in the 90s that really hit me, that I really loved, was Stone Temple Pilots. They were, to me, less grunge. They had the grunge sound. They did steal from all the great ones from the early years, but also were very hard rock. Great guitarist with Dean DeLeo. Bass player was his brother Robert. You had Scott Weiland on vocals, one of the best frontmen in rock, period, hands down. And on drum, you had Eric Kretz. They actually they started earlier than 89, but 89 is when the four guys were together. They run I think a covers band, if I'm not mistaken, at one point called Swing. They changed their name to Mighty Joe Young, recorded some demos, and they couldn't use Mighty Joe Young when they signed with Atlantic Records, and then they switched their name to Stone Temple Pilots. And by 1992, they released their debut album, Four. What I have here is their anniversary edition of that, the box set. So in it's great pictures of the band. On one side, we have the vinyl, it's just black. On the other side, we have the DVD over here, and then four CD over on that side. And the four CDs, it's a remastered original album. Disc 2 is all the demos and the B-sides. Disc 3 is a live album from 1993, recorded at the Reading Festival on August 27th. And then disc 4 is the MTV Unplugged from November 17th, 1993. The DVD itself is the 5.1 surround mix. So it gives you all that information on this little insert. And it also has this fantastic book in there that is just full of an essay on the band, a lot of pictures. It's just some really, really great stuff to thumb through. You can take a lot of time in that. And it does have all the lyrics to all the songs. So for me, this album just coming out of the gate, I mean, it was phenomenal. You had opened up with Dead and Bloated, and then had the single for Sex Time Thing. You had the singles were Plush and Creep. But Wicked Garden was one of my favorites. Looking through this track listing, it's just some great, great songs. Cracker Man, Naked Sunday, just so many great songs. And I think Dean DeLeo is one of the most underrated guitarists out there. He doesn't get mentioned much, but his riffs and his solos, and I mean, come on, he was phenomenal. Still is phenomenal. He's a really nice guy. I got to meet him last summer when I was in LA. My brother-in-law works a lot with the band currently. And when we went over to my brother-in-law's house, Dean was there. They were doing some recording for some stuff. So I got to meet him. And I think my brother warned Dean that his brother-in-law is a slight fanboy and might freak out when I meet him, but I was very good. I didn't ask for an autograph. I didn't ask for a picture. I just shook his hand. We chatted, and it was really, really cool to meet him. Um, but see, my brother's been working with Stone Temple Pilots for quite a while. My brother-in-law, I should say. Um, all these new releases that they've been doing, these box sets and things, and all their newer albums, he's been engineering and mixing a lot of stuff for those. And he was involved on the core anniversary box set. And when they released all of it on vinyl, because the box set I had was CDs and just one vinyl, this one is the 4 LP box set that features the bonus tracks, the demos, and the live show. It does not have the MTV Unplugged, which, as a result of that not being in here, I'd still need to get that one on vinyl. And I haven't opened this one yet, so it is still sealed. It's got all four vinyl in here. Really a beautiful set. And when I was at his house, he had a stack of these sitting there. So I was glad he gave me one of them, because I do need to open it and just kind of jam on those things. So after Core came out on September 1992. We go to their second album, which is called Purple, and it came out on June 27th, 1994. Brendan O'Brien, who produced the first one, produced this one as well. This one had some really good singles with Big Empty, Vaseline, and Interstate Love Song. But those weren't always the only great songs on here. But here is the box set that I have for that. I mean, I just the cover, the gloss on it, 12 gracious melodies. Again, it comes with an insert that gives you all the information on what's on here, which we have 3 CDs this time. And so there's a great picture of the band. There's the 3 CDs. And then the vinyl is sitting in here, as well as the booklet. But the vinyl is just a regular black vinyl. So nothing really, no colored or anything on that. But again, it had the insert and it also had the book that gave you the lyrics and some essays on the band. Another beautiful copy. They really do a great job on these. Been very impressed with them. I love this kind of like a hardback book kind of case that they're in. So the album, the CD is the original remastered, and that's what's on the vinyl. CD2 is the early versions, the demos, acoustic songs, and we get a live show on disc 3 from New Haven's Veterans Memorial Coliseum in New Haven, Connecticut on August 23rd, 1994. Anyone that releases a box set, those are the 3 things you need: a remastered album, demos, rare tracks on another disc, and then a live show from that era. That's how you do it. And they do it right on all of these. Really just a fantastic album. Still the same band. Like I said, Brendan's on this one. Outside of Vaseline, I mean, Vaseline might be one of the best songs I've ever done. I love Lounge Fly, Pretty Penny, Unglued. Just so many great songs on this one. And I get torn. Sometimes the debut's my favorite, and sometimes this one's my favorite. It's really hard to decide which one's the best one because they're all really good. So after that one, another just less than 2 years, on March 26th, 1996, we get their third album, which again produced by Brendan O'Brien. It's Tiny Music, Songs from the Vatican, Gift Shop, and again, this is another one of the bonus or Deluxe box sets. We get the insert that gives you everything, and as they did it again, remastered album, early versions, demos, instrumentals, alternative mix on disc 2, and a live show from Club La Vela at Panama City Beach, Florida on March 14th, 1997. I still have the sticker as well. I do keep all that stuff. You get another booklet inside with the band on the back. Lyrics, again, another essay, and more fantastic pictures. What I like about this one, I love what they did with the disc. They kept the color. Look at that picture of the band there. I love that. And then the disc, all very colored in the water, however. And then it does have the vinyl, which, just a black vinyl. And again, another great job. The singles on this one: Big Bang Baby, Tripping on a Hole in a Paper Heart, and Lady Picture Show. This album was a little bit different than the other 2. I think they went really more experimental. I like Trumbull in the Rough, Pops Love Suicide, Art School Girl. Again, just another classic album. These first 3 albums are just amazing, and I love them all. But one of my favorites might be the next one, and it is simply titled Number 4. Again, Brendan O'Brien he's produced all the albums up to this point. And then this version of the album is it's a brand new one. I don't know if this was ever on vinyl. If it was ever on vinyl, it's extremely rare, extremely hard to find. Mine is from Vinyl Me Please. It just came out recently, so you can kind of see the star there, the name, and number 4. It is on a gatefold that gives you the lyrics and everything in there. Um, I've got it came with a Vinyl Me Please sticker. It had this booklet in here as well from Atlantic Records. Um, just the stories on the band, I guess, things like that. Um, but what really sold me on this was the vinyl. Uh, I mean, just look at that. That is gorgeous. Um, one of the prettiest vinyls that I have. And I know they're going to do a box set like they did for the other stuff. I know that's going to happen. And so I would have got the vinyl anyway when I buy that box set, but I just could not pass that up. We're going to show that again. I just think it's gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. Um, but yeah, this is one of my favorite albums. I can't say a good enough stuff about this one. Sour Girl, and Down, Sex and Violence, MC5, the Atlanta song. I think they did record some of this in Atlanta. Because I know my brother-in-law, this was one of the first albums that he actually worked on, I think. I don't know if he did Tiny Music. He might have done a little because he worked a lot with Brendan O'Brien back in that time frame. But he was one of the engineers. I don't think he got listed in the album anywhere. He didn't do a whole lot. He was still learning how to do it all at the time, but that was one of his first, I think he did. So that is what, 4 albums. So now we're on to their 5th album, and this is the last one that's produced by Brendan O'Brien. This one came out June 19th, 2001. So they've been on a pretty good stream of about every 2 years putting out an album. And this one is called Shangri. What is it? Shangri-La Dida. This is an original pressing. Very, very rare. Or actually, I don't know if this. No, this is not original pressing. I don't have this. The next one I have is original. This is from Music on Vinyl. I could never find an original pressing of this one. And they did a real good job. They gave a nice little insert um, for that one. Yeah, it's the self-titled album. That's the original pressing I have. And I do love they matched the album cover with that color on the vinyl. I mean, just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Um, and I mean, the black vinyl I always like, but yeah, when they do a little bit of color, um, they really do it good. But yeah, this is Music on Vinyl, so my mistake. Another good album, not my favorite. It's a little more experimental. They kind of went, kind of a little more psyche sometimes on it. What were the singles? The singles were Days of the Week, Hollywood Bitch, um, which are all great. I do like Coma. Well, there are a bunch I like. I mean, I can't really go say anything bad about it. Black Again, wonderful. All great songs. But out of the first 5, my least favorite, but they haven't made a bad album. I don't think they've ever made a bad album. And so that one I do like. Now, after 2001, about by the time 2003 came around, I think the problems within the band were at a head. I think Dean and Scott, I think, went at it one time, from what I've heard and read. Um, so at that point, the band kind of was done. The record company, in the meantime, did release a greatest hits album, and that one is called "Thank You," which is appropriately titled, I would assume. Thank you. So it came out on November 11th, 2003. Um, it had a couple unreleased songs. I think it had Plush, a live version of Plush, and Long Way Home. Um, Still, it's just a great collection of the greatest hits. This was just released on vinyl recently, so I had to grab it. Great little gatefold. Um, this particular one is just the black vinyl. Um, but it's greatest hits album, so it's got everything you want and then some. If I can get it back, I can't get slide it back in there. So we'll worry about that later. So, but a great album. if you just want to get a good starting point, I think the greatest hits is a good starting point for you to get. So after that, the band finally got back together thanks to Scott's wife. Scott Weiland's wife, I think, called up the DeLeo brothers and asked them to come to some event. And that got the band talking again. And then by 2010, they released a new album. So on May 21st, 2010, we get the self-titled album, Stone Temple Pilots. This is my original pressing of that album from 2010. Very hard to find. I've only seen it once, and that's why it's in my collection because I bought it. My rule, if you've never seen it before, buy it. I generally stick to that. Had a nice insert with lyrics and then a great picture of the band. This is the album sleeve, but I don't keep the album sleeve in it, the album itself in it. All right, this one has the singles Between the Lines and Take a Load Off. Those are the two big singles off of it. There's a lot written up on this album, but I like Huckleberry Crumble, Hickory Dichotomy, Dare If You Dare, Hazy Days. I mean, this one I really think is a very underrated album. It's just on black vinyl. So that's all I have on that one. Great album. I was so happy to have them back. Too bad though, it was short-lived because I think by 2013 they broke up again. In 2015, sadly, we lost Scott. Um, and what a big hole that left in the music industry because even his solo stuff is phenomenal. And he was one of the greatest frontmen of all time, in my opinion. So miss him dearly in seeing him play. So after that, they did bring in Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. They did release an EP on vinyl. That one is very hard to come by and very expensive. So I haven't been able to get that one yet. Someday I'll get it. But then Chester was only in for that short time. Then they went on this massive search for a new lead singer. And I remember my brother was telling me a little bit about it. And they got a singer, and his name was Jeff Gutt. I hope I said that right. And their very first album was a self-titled album called Stone Temple Pilots, of course. And this one came out on March 16th, 2018. So 8 years after the debut, or not the debut, but the last self-titled. Um, and I think they did a self-titled just to basically to start again with the band. The singles were Meadow and Roll Me Under. But again, there's more than just those two singles. The Art of Letting Go is one of the best songs on there. Middle of Nowhere, Guilty, Thought She'd Be Mine. Just a whole lot of great songs. Jeff does have a little Scott sound to him, but he's also got his own little sound there as well. He's a great singer. I have not seen them live. I'm hoping to catch them. They have not come to Charlotte in a long time. And so I'm hoping they do. They're going to be in Raleigh. So I've thought about driving out to Raleigh because I know my brother-in-law will be there. He works the sound. He does the monitor mix on the live shows for them. So I like the back cover, the whole little thing with that. So for some reason, I have the CD. So I haven't opened the vinyl for some reason. So I've only listened to the CD. I do need to crack this open because it is a great album. I bought the CD the day one, even without hearing anything by Jeff, because my brother-in-law was working on it, so I was supporting the band for that, and I'm glad I did. Then after that, in 2018, that same year, the band did a record store day release. Um, and the cover, it's live 2018, and it's with Jeff singing, and there he is, and there's the band right there. It's in 3D. The cover's in 3D. It came with some glasses, and so it was all really cool. Now I remember, well, before that, let me show you the vinyl. Vinyl's on red, really great, pretty vinyl. But I remember when I got this and I brought it home, I popped it open and was listening to it. And I was like, I'm not sure I like it. It just does not sound good. I mean, they sounded fine. It just felt different. It felt off. And I even said that in my review. Something's not quite right with it. And there was a problem with it. When it was recorded onto the vinyl, something happened and it was recorded at like 94% speed, not at a full speed. So it kind of had slowed everything down. And that's exactly what it was that I was like, that's it. That's why I don't like it that much. It wasn't playing at where it should be. And I noticed that. But what they did next was incredible. If you ordered it and showed that you had the album and sent in your information, they sent you a newly recorded. Now, there's nothing on this, but this is the corrected 2018 live show on red vinyl with at the right speed. And let me tell you, it sounds way better. It's hard to believe that little bit of a difference could make a difference, but it really did. Uh, Now I really like the album after I got the correct speed. But I say bravo on them for reissuing that and sending us a copy. So we had the right copy. So I think that one's one of my cooler albums in my collection because it's got the error and the mistake, and then they sent a corrected version. So that I thought that was really cool. And then for their latest album, uh, this one is called Perdida. And this one came out not too long ago, February 7th, 2020. So 4 years ago. The second album with Jeff. Um, what I like about this one, it is completely different. It is more of an acoustic sounding type album, folksy, soft rock, uh, really completely unexpected. Fare Thee Well is the opening track, and I think that was the single. Jeff got involved a lot in the writing on all of these. There's a great instrumental on here. I once sat at your table. But Perdida is a great song. Years, Three Wishes. I just, it's one of those albums I was so shocked at the difference when I first heard it. I was like, wait a second, I don't know if I like this. But you have to give it some time. Give it a bunch of plays, and you'll change your mind. This was also in a little, it's not really a poster per se, but it's to the lyric sheet, folded up in there very nicely. Um, and then the vinyl is here. It's just on black, this one, but a good copy. Uh, and that's the last one. So I hope they do some more stuff. I know they've all been involved in their own little things, going out and doing stuff. They're touring right now, and I think Nuno Bettencourt showed up just the other night to play with them on one song. I would have loved to have been there for that. That would have been cool. Nuno's awesome. I know they're going to do a #4 deluxe box set. I'm hoping that comes out soon. Trying to think if that was, when was that one? So that was 1999. Hey, we're at about 25 years right now. So that hopefully will come out maybe by the end of the year. It would be nice to get the 25th anniversary of uh of that album, which would be awesome because I think all of those they're doing 25 anniversaries. So every 2 years we should be getting a box set. I'm hoping they continue that trend and we get one for Shangri-La Dee Da as well. But that is all my Stone Temple Pilots vinyl that I have. If I ever get the Chester Bennington EP, I will get that one and I'll come on and talk about that one. And I do need to get, I think they have the MTV live show on vinyl. So I am missing that one. I do need to get that. And then my set will be complete. I'll be happy when that all happens. So, but that's it for this one. Thanks for hanging around and walking through those with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit like and subscribe. Even if you didn't, hit like and subscribe. That would be awesome. Thank you again, and we will see you next time on The Collection.